We're speaking again with David Searl, author of the book You and the Law in Spain, which has helped foreign property buyers sort through the Spanish red tape for more than 20 years.
In our first video, we listed some points to check to make sure you are getting the full guarantees when you buy your Spanish property. We'll go into a little more detail about some of these points in this second video.
David, please tell us about the process of choosing a lawyer.
Your Spanish lawyer is going to be very important for you. In order to choose a lawyer, this is one time I can recommend going into the bar and talking to people, or going into the hairdresser and talking to people. You ask a few questions in both of those places, and you have a list of local lawyers to avoid, and another list of those that people just love. And you can pick from that one. That's about the only way I know to choose a lawyer. But all those checks, you need him, because all those checks we mentioned will be quite difficult for you to do on your own, not speaking the language, not being familiar with the legal system, which is different from the UK system of property transfer. Your lawyer will charge you about, that's what you want to know, right? What's it going to cost me? About 1% of the purchase price is a standard figure. It can be higher if there are some serious problems to sort out. It can be lower if everything goes perfectly, which mainly it does. I'm in the business of warning people, but 99% of all property transactions go through perfectly smoothly, and everybody's happy. I'm only concerned with the rest of them, and to make sure that yours goes all right.
I still don't get it about the catastro. Could you elaborate?
One of the checks you have to make is the title deed. This is registered in the property registry, and it describes the property and identifies the owner so that you know the owner is the one selling you the property. Quite often, however, the data in this title deed do not match the physical reality of the property itself. This is because the property registry is principally concerned with who owns it. There is another kind of property registry in Spain called the catastro. It is concerned with the physical data of the property, the square meters, the boundaries, and so forth. Now, this catastro picture quite often does not square with what is in the title deed, because in the title deed they put down whatever they tell them to put down. Say, I own this finca and it borders with Juan on the left and with Maria on the south, and so forth, which is not a very accurate description. You often find this kind of thing. The catastro has aerial photographs, maps, and that is what you want to see, because when you buy, you can correct your title deed to match the catastro. Another guarantee for you, then you know what you have exactly, the catastro rules.
Are you saying that buying a home in Spain is similar to buying a home anywhere else in Europe, with a similar process, similar guarantees, and a similar happy ending?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Many of the procedures are somewhat different, but all of these guarantees are in place in Spain, just as they are in any other European country. And now let me get back to the catastro here, which is, it's also important because it has the exact measurements, the exact location of your property, and everything that's on it, including the swimming pool that wasn't declared by the previous owner. All of this is on the catastro. That's why you want to see it. And so the catastro, with all of this data, is the one that sets your official tax valuation for that annual real estate tax that we talked about. You want to see that paid up receipt when you buy the property. Now, whether you buy an old property or a new one, and this is a fairly recent development, you want to see the first occupation certificate. This is, or even a second occupation certificate, which is also possible. Either of these signifies that the property is fit for habitation and has its permits in order. For the first occupation, the town hall sends an inspector who looks at the property And for the second occupation, which they have to do after 10 years, you might have to ask for this one too, an architect or other building professional can fill out the forms for it. And you need these in order to change the electric, the water billing into your own name. And make sure the property is legal, because otherwise something might go wrong with it. But with the first occupation certificate, you will be sure that you're okay. Now, finally, taxes. And we'll close this bit here with the taxes. Without going into detail, you can figure about 10% of the purchase price is what's going to cost you in taxes. Most contracts today specify that the buyer will pay all of this, but you can negotiate to get the seller to pay part of it also.